Welcome back to the Successful Driver Podcast. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen or watch wherever you are consuming this show. Really appreciate you taking a little time with us here. And we're very excited today to go again outside of Arrow Walls, which we're trying to do. We're trying to get as many conversations, as many perspectives as we can outside of the industry. And we thought, what a perfect time to talk to Todd Amen, the president and CEO of ATBS. Todd, thank you so much for taking some time to come hang out with us here.
Hey, Kent, I appreciate the invite. I love Arrow. You guys are awesome. You sell awesome trucks, and I love nothing more than being able to reach out to your drivers and everybody that you talk to. So thanks for having me on.
Man, we appreciate you and all you're doing for the trucking industry. We kind of start with this every week, Todd. What's your industry background? How did you get into the trucking industry? Just kind of explain what your background is here.
Yeah, you bet. It's a pretty simple story. I grew up in a trucking family. My dad had a truck line in Colorado, hauled 48 states. We hauled beer and film and Hewlett Packard printers and those kinds of things. And like a lot of kids born into a trucking family, I grew up changing tires and greasing bearings and rebuilding engines and knocking out trailer floors and all those kinds of things, and moved my way into all the different things that happen in a truck line. I have two brothers, Jeff and Matt, and we ultimately took over the truck line from our dad in mid to late 90s and ran it for a few years together. And we sold that truck line in 1998 and started ATBS right after that. And really the reason we started ATBS was because we had a lot of owner operators that we worked with, and we loved them, but we hated watching them fail in their business because they were not good business people and they didn't understand taxes. And once the diesel's in your blood, you can't get out of the industry. So we're happy to still be in the business of trucking, and we love working with drivers every day.
Well, so you've seen a lot of truck drivers out there in your time. What do you think? We ask this question. This is one of the things we ask everybody. What do you think makes a successful driver, Todd?
Gosh, here we are sitting today, right after the coronavirus. It's not over yet, but the thing that makes a successful driver today is anybody that has a truck and is willing to drive. Like, it is so easy right now to make money that it's stupid, right? So that's a little bit of a flip comment, but number one, it's hard work, right? Whether it's a good time or a bad time, you got to be willing to put in the miles and do the work. And that, means being away from your family a lot of times and those kinds of things. But gosh, 20 years ago, that was it. Get in the truck and drive and go make money. But today it's way different. Today it's, you got to be smart. You got to have a plan. You got to think ahead. You got to know what's going on. You got to adjust to the times. And so for me today, it's a person that is willing to not just do what they did yesterday, because life changes, the business changes. And so for us, really a successful truck driver is someone that's smart. That doesn't mean you have to go to college. It doesn't mean you got to have a business degree. It just means that you're paying attention. You don't just treat it like, I got a truck, I'm going to go drive, I'm going to make some money. Think about it, manage, think ahead, do a budget, plan, pay attention to your numbers. For me, that's what makes a successful driver today.
All right. So we always ask this question to, you and ATBS. How are you helping truck drivers find success? What's your role in the truck driver story?
We're right in the middle of that. Our clients, a lot of times people think of ATBS as that tax company in Colorado, but really the secret to what we do is our goal is to help drivers succeed. It literally broke my heart when I was in the trucking business and we had drivers fail for no reason of their own other than something bad happened, right? They had a transmission go out, or they hit something in the road and blew out four tires. And sadly, there are drivers that don't have enough money to see them through that little blip in the road. And so at ATBS, our goal is really to help the driver treat it like a business. We do a budget. We help them. We call it a profit plan because a budget sounds like a root canal. A profit plan sounds like something fun. So let's get a success plan out there and figure out how you're going to make money. And then let's look at those numbers every month and see how you're doing and help you adjust. If we look at last year, it was literally last year we had like 4-year business cycle combined into 1 year, right? The first half of the year of coronavirus was really difficult and hard. And then the back half of the year was fantastic and we could make a ton of money. at the same time, fuel came down from over $3 a gallon to, under 250 a gallon. That's like 3 or 4 different operating models in one year. I had to adjust my business. And really at ATBS, our goal is to help people understand the rates in the market, the cost side of the business, and how I just make all that work in my favor to make as much money as I possibly can. So we're about the numbers. We're about saving money from keeping money from the IRS, and that's what we do every day at ATBS.
Yeah, one of the things we kind of always talk about, and one of the themes that shows up, especially when we're talking with people here at Arrow, when we're doing this show, is just trying to eliminate barriers for success. And we partner with you guys in a lot of different ways. We partner with other companies, in various facets, and try to provide good financing and all that stuff. But it's that's trying to eliminate barriers for these guys and help them along the road. It kind of seems like that's really at the heart of what you guys are trying to accomplish as well.
It is. There's a lot of drivers that go out there and they get the dream of owning their own truck and, all these things. Gosh, if you look at the spot market today, people are making over $3 per mile. It's
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like I say, get a truck, go run. You can make money today. It's going to change, right? It might change next week. It's going to change next year. That's for sure. So you got to have a good, solid truck, a good, solid partner. And we have worked together a long time, Kent, with Arrow. And, you guys give guys good trucks. You don't have some sleazy back alley truck lot that, put a bunch of lipstick on some chromed up, piece of junk that a guy's going to drive off the lot and lose his life savings over. Yeah, you got to pick the right partners to be successful in business and get good quality financing, not someone that's charging you 28% interest rate, hidden in some lease somewhere. And you guys do all that. And you also partner with folks that can help these drivers make it long term and hopefully buy their second, third, and fifth and 10th truck and maybe even grow a small fleet with you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, Todd, I want to follow up with something. You kind of said, this is obviously this is a good time for truck drivers right now with spot rates the way they're at, and um, you know, what would your advice be for someone in the good days right now to prepare for when maybe the market isn't exactly the same, right? As it is right now. What would your one piece of advice be for those people as they're preparing for the next dip in the market?
I think two things, Kent. I think of all kinds of stories of the ants saving up for the dry season and hoarding their harvest underground so that they can eat for long term. We're no different. It's a good time. Don't go out and buy new toys like a Harley or a bass boat or a bunch of chrome for your truck. Save that money, man, because the tough time will come, and you're going to need it to get through the tough time. So put some money in the bank right now. Don't just blow it all. um, it's nice to make money. It's nice to have nice things, but make sure you're building your savings for when the tough time comes. And when the tough time comes, people react differently. But a lot of times people freak out because what's been going on for a year or 2 years that I've been good at isn't there anymore, and so they change segments of the market. Maybe I feel like I got to go from dry van to flatbed or flatbed to reefer, and that's expensive. It's hard to change, or running contracted to a fleet into the spot market or vice versa.
Right.
Pick something long term. I mean, you can change, over time, but when you change, it costs money. You got to learn a whole new segment. You got to learn new routes. You got to learn new rates, all kinds of stuff. So be consistent in what you're doing. Pick something to be successful at, know it, understand it, and ride out the storm because it'll get good again. But we'll have dips. There's no doubt.
Right. One other kind of follow up, and you kind of talked about part of your story in the trucking industry is you saw some drivers fail. What about the truck drivers that you kind of saw that had their struggles that maybe didn't make it out of those struggles? What was a consistent theme with them? Why did those guys not make it the way you've seen a lot of other people make it?
It's this has stood the test of time. There's three reasons drivers fail in our mind. One is maintenance related. You guys sell them trucks, right? But they're not perfect trucks. Things go wrong. There's
Right.
always, so have money set aside to manage that truck. In today's world, if you've got a used truck, we want people setting aside 10 to 14 cents a mile in a maintenance account. Don't plan on go getting a loan from somebody or a second mortgage to fix something that
Right.
breaks. Do preventive maintenance. So maintenance is number one. Sadly, health related is number two, right? Drivers have health issues. Their family has health issues. A lot of times, if you're independent, you don't have insurance because it's expensive. So take care of yourself and try and get some form of health insurance. And the third thing is just bad business practices, not paying the IRS when you're supposed to, not paying attention to your numbers. Those are the things that cause people to fail. If you can eliminate those things by doing the right things, your odds of growing and buying a next truck and a second and a fifth truck are, you got them in your favor.
You brought up the IRS, and that's the perfect transition for a topic everyone loves to talk about. It's tax season. That's part of the reason we wanted to talk to you now. And in a big piece of your business is trucker tax services. So I want to hear a tax horror story from you, Todd. I want to hear one. We'll ask about a success story in a second, but I want to hear I want to hear a tax horror story from you. Just pick one.
All right. Man, it always boils down to the people that wind up owing the IRS money. And we can talk about that maybe in the success story. But my favorite, maybe horror story is we had a driver that we were doing tax returns for, and they had over $100,000 of 1099 Gs, which is gambling winnings. So this guy was a high roller. He was a gambler. And he was going to have to pay taxes on that because if you can't offset that with losses, then you are, going to pay 30, 40 grand on those gambling winnings. So we told him that. And he said, well, I have losses too. Let me offset the losses. And we said, if you have gambling losses, you got to prove them. And the next week, we literally got 8 boxes of scratch tickets, like those truck stop gas station scratch tickets. And we added it up, and there was over $200,000 of scratch tickets this person sent us in these boxes. Like they were huge. We keep them because I love to go look at it. I'm like, this is amazing. This guy made over 100 grand in gambling winnings, like on slot machines and casino stuff. But he spends that much on scratch tickets. This guy's a truck driver doing 150 grand a year in revenue and making 50, 60 grand. It was just mind blowing. So I say it's a horror story because it just like gave me the shivers to wonder how much gray stuff that he scratched off these tickets in his truck. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
how much is he having to vacuum that thing out?
Oh man, can you imagine? Like it was just an incredible thing to see that this truck driver spent that much money gambling.
So did you have to go in and count every single card in those boxes?
We did. We
Oh,
did. We told him we didn't actually physically have to have them. You could have added it up and sent it to us, but we did, man. We wanted to save the guy money on taxes, so we added it all up. It was a couple hundred grand in scratch tickets.
how,
Crazy.
how many people did it take you to get that done?
You wouldn't believe our office right now. We get those things every day. We get Jack Daniels boxes of crazy stuff. That probably took us a week of 5 or 6 people, sorting it out and adding it up. But that's what we do. I mean, that's what we do for our drivers is deal with those kind of nightmares.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, so we talked about a horror story. How about a success story? What you got?
Yeah. Well, tax resolution. I mean, you hear the ads on the radio. A lot of times it's really sleazy companies, trying to take advantage of people who are in a bad situation with the IRS. People get behind and truck drivers get behind and they don't pay their taxes. And um, so I have good stories about people that have bad deals with the IRS. And my favorite is a guy that drove for a truck line based in Denver, where we are, and for a few years. And the owner of the truck line called us up and said, "Hey, can you guys help us? This is our best driver. Literally, he won Driver of the Year last year, and he just got a notice from the IRS. He has not paid taxes in 10 years, and he owes the
Wow.
IRS $450,000. Which is a bad deal, right?" And so we worked with this guy. It took a couple of years to get it all figured out, but we literally negotiated that down to less than $10,000 on behalf of that guy. That's a terrible story, right? Because most of us pay taxes, and it kind of pisses us off when somebody cannot pay 450 grand and they can negotiate that down to 10 grand. But in the end, this guy, the money was gone. The IRS couldn't get anything out of him. He was near broke, even though he was driver of the year. He just wasn't good at managing his money. So we negotiate with the IRS and, literally saved that guy's life, right? I mean, when the IRS is haunting you for money, it's no fun. People commit suicide over it. And, so I like stories like that where we can help a guy clean the slate, get back to his life, not worry about going to jail. And we do it all the time, unfortunately. It's hard sometimes for these drivers to get their taxes paid.
So, were you able to kind of follow up with that guy moving forward after that? Was it something that you were able to get, some insights on how he was able to take that fresh start, or do you have any follow up to what happened there?
We were. He became a customer, and truck drivers are supposed to pay their taxes quarterly if they're independent. And we got the guy on track because that's part of the deal. If you negotiate a reduction like that with the IRS, you got to stay on track. You got to make a plan, and you got to live up to it. And you can't ever get behind again, or they'll reopen that whole case and they'll go back and say you owe us 450 grand. So definitely we got that guy back on track and doing things the right way.
So, how has ATBS been here with, not just last year, but with this, this is tax season. Has it been crazy around there for y'all?
Yeah, it's insane every year. I was equated to like, going back to school in the fall when all the kids come back. We hired 30 more people to do, stuff around tax season. COVID adds in the extra element, but we're in the office, to be honest. We're 65% in the office every day. We rotate people in and out, and it's fun. It's crazy. We're supposed to get 4 feet of snow this weekend too. So, we're 24/7 right now doing taxes. So we got to meet tomorrow to figure out how people are going to make sure they take their stuff home and our computers aren't going to go down with this crazy snowstorm coming our way. So it's part of life, man. That's what we do.
Well, Todd, I'm so grateful for you taking a little bit of time with us. Is there if anyone wants to know, how to maybe get started with you guys, what's the first step? What can they do to try to, to get involved here with ATBS?
The easiest thing is to literally go to our website, atbs.com. There's a ton of resources as far as tax information out there, newsletters. You can learn about the business, those kinds of things. You can give us a call if you want, 888-640-4829. We're happy to help you out. We'd love to have you as a customer. And if not even a customer, we'll just talk to you about your business. If you want to go buy your next aero truck and you think you're ready to take that step and be a small fleet owner from an individual truck owner, we can help you run some numbers and make sure you're going to make money doing that. So yeah, Kent, like you said, we've been partners forever, and we love helping drivers grow with their aero trucks.
Well, we're honored to be working with you, my friend. I really appreciate your time. I know this is crazy season for y'all, but thanks for giving us a little bit of your time to talk about this, and looking forward to talking to you in the future if you're interested.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. My pleasure. It's a joy to be with you. And to all you drivers, drive safe. God bless. And thanks for everything you do out there, man.
All right, well, that's another episode of the Successful Driver Podcast. Thank you guys all so much for listening. Be sure to check everything out as we go through this whole show every week. Thank you guys so much. Catch you later.